Of course, we missed a little bit of the top, and I always get excited and end up forgetting to click record. So just as an FYI, we are recording this session, and it will be posted to our YouTube channel and communicated in case anyone misses anything or has to jump off late. But I will say that, again, my name is Kyle Tweet, and I'm with the Department of Labor. And I do want to encourage our employers to just jump on real quick and introduce themselves. Again, this is the first job fair in a series that we are doing for the Northwest region. So if we could start with Fab-Tech, Donna, and all of our employers could go around and just introduce themselves and just kind of give a just who you are, your position, and the company that you are representing. So Donna, if you want to go ahead and go first, that would be great.
Good morning, I'm Donna Ray, and I'm at Fab-Tech in Colchester.
Awesome. And then I believe we also have Keurig. So AJ and Sarah, if you want to go ahead, maybe AJ first.
Sure. My name is AJ Borman. I am from Keurig Dr. Pepper. I've been with the organization for 5.5, almost 6 years here. And I am the Talent Acquisition Associate Manager for Supply Chain or Manufacturing.
Great.
Hi, I'm Sarah Patterson. I've been with Keurig Dr. Pepper for 17 years, all in Vermont, and I'm based here in Essex, Vermont, and support the Williston site as the HR manager for both locations. So looking forward to today and hope we can answer some questions.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Leslie.
I'm Leslie Nolte. I'm one of the owners and principal managers of a new company called Mansfield Community Fiber. We are a fiber optic to the home broadband deployer and operator. And I'm delighted to be here today and hopefully get to meet some of you job seekers.
Awesome. And as I said, each of our employers will be presenting a very brief presentation today, about 10 or 15 minutes per employer. So please feel free to ask questions during the presentations. But as I said, we'll be leaving time at the end for each employer to address any questions specifically. So with that, why don't we, Donna, I guess just alphabetically, I guess I'll have you go first and I'll turn off my camera, but to give you the floor. So go ahead, it looks like you're already unmuted. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about Fab-Tech and the positions that you're currently hiring for.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen, which has a PowerPoint so people can see what Fab-Tech is all about. I figured this would be a lot easier and just nobody's ever heard of Fab-Tech. Fab-Tech is basically a manufacturing facility, plus we have also engineering and a lot of other administrative features here in Colchester. But they produce what's called PermaShield pipe, which is a huge product in the fume exhaust world. It's basically stainless steel piping that is used in multiple manufacturing facilities for other companies, as well as you'll see some laboratories. I have some examples of where some of the sites are after something's been set up. But so this is what PermaShield pipe looks like after it's all put together. This is at a few other of our customer sites. So what is PSP? Basically, it's a corrosive fume and odor control exhaust duct. And I know that sounds really exciting, but it's basically a very necessary feature for a lot of companies, government locations. So we've actually stayed open through the entire virus situation. We have been very busy. We're actually busier. Whoops, it's flying through. We've actually been busier than we've ever been at this point. So that's why we're hiring so massively. Basically, what does it do in the semiconductor industry? You can see there it's chemically resistant, the coating that's in the inside of the pipes. So all the dirty air that's in the semiconductor facility has to be processed out. So this pipe system does not allow for corrosion in the pipes, and then that way it lasts a lot longer than normal, traditional, just stainless steel piping. And it removes the foul air basically from the system. It's also fire safe. There's no way that this can catch on fire. So if there is a fire in the facility, it's actually fire resistant, which is kind of cool. Maintenance is very low key, so that's why all of our facility, the customers love it. It's used in wastewater treatment plants around the world, as well as the universities. This shows you an example. In Washington, D.C. area, this is a large wastewater treatment facility, and that's all product that was made here at Fab-Tech. Then here's another one in Bridgewater, another large facility that the piping starts at 4 inches in diameter, and the latest product that was made was 120 inches in diameter. So as you can tell, the facility here is large, and to make all this product, and we have about 120 people in the manufacturing side alone on first and second shift. So we have all kinds of positions. These are the open positions right now. We have first and second shift. So the facility is open for 10-hour shifts every day. These are the open positions. One was actually just added this morning compared to what I gave up yesterday for information. And basically all of our employees, the full-time employees, have benefits. We have medical, dental, vision, short-term disability, long-term disability. We also have a 401k matching program for it's a traditional RAs as well as Roth IRAs. We have a great EAP program. And during this last few months, like I said earlier, we have remained open the entire time because we have a very strict cleaning schedule. We clean the facility 5 times a day, including into the night. We have a huge, I have to say this, knock on wood, but we've had nobody here in the facility test positive for the virus. We have had a very good record, and our focus has been to remain open with everybody being healthy the entire time. So we have a lot of respect with our employees because they have remained vigilant, and they respect each other and remain vigilant to ensure that everybody's following the processes and procedures. This is the website for Fab-Tech. Fab-Tech is part of Critical Process Systems Group, which is a larger corporation. There are 7 companies around the country, and 3 of them are here in Vermont. Fab-Tech is the manufacturing facility in Vermont, and we have also 2 engineering groups that are located in Williston. In addition to regular full-time positions, we also have apprenticeship programs. We have apprentices that have come in from different tech centers to do the welding program, as well as we have some in, we had actually an engineering apprentice at one time this year, but unfortunately had to close that position out because the school's closed down. But we have a lot of open positions on a regular basis. I gave you a sample of our website here. So if you go to fabtechinc.com, you go up in the left-hand corner, you'll see that little careers. And then when you go to the careers page, it shows CPS because we are part of the group. And then when you look on the job search section, you on the right side, you have to pick the location because we have facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, Boise, Idaho, and also a couple of spots in Massachusetts. So I want to make sure that everybody realizes to pick the Vermont location. And then when you do pick that, it'll start showing you the different jobs that are open, including job descriptions. You can apply right through the website, and it's actually pretty easy. You can upload a resume and answer a couple of questions. It's pretty simple. We've done several tests with it. It's pretty new, actually, being able to do it through our website. And we've had several successful tests, so I know it's working. And it only takes about 10 minutes to do an online application. So it's pretty easy. And if you have any general questions, there's our phone number, and our address is over in Hercules Drive, which is actually very close to Costco. So it's a pretty good central location. And I will unshare my screen. So if anybody has any questions, obviously, Kyle gave you the update that you can put anything into the chat box and ask questions later.
Great. Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing your website, and I think folks can definitely know to apply there. If you feel like you'd like to, please, you can post that in the chat, Donna, if you'd like, just in case, or even if they want to get in contact with you directly, any other information as well. Just as a reminder, as Donna said, please feel free to post any questions or comments in the chat. But as we continue to move through, I think we'll move on to our next employer, which is Keurig Dr. Pepper. I believe, AJ, I think you're going to give the presentation. So if you want to go ahead and unmute, I will turn everything over to you. AJ, you are muted on your end, so I can't, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. And we're also seeing your browser as opposed to the presentation.
Okay, hang on just a second. I think my screen is not sharing correctly here. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not at the moment. If you need me to, I can.
AJ, do you want me to try?
Yeah, if you could, thank you.
Is it sharing this screen or the other one? Oops. Is anything coming through?
Not on my end. I do have it up on, oh, there it goes.
What are we presenting? Are we presenting the presentation?
There it is. I can see it, Sarah. Thank you. All right.
Great.
Thank
So
you, everyone, for your patience with our virtual learning here. So again, I'm AJ Borman, Supervisor Talent Acquisition, and my associate, Sarah Patterson. We're excited to tell you a little bit about us, what we're doing at Keurig Dr. Pepper. They're especially in the Vermont facility. So Sarah, if you want to go to the next slide. So a couple of call outs about some of our brands. So we have a lot of brands that I think that are noticeable to a lot of different individuals, either from a coffee perspective or from a beverage perspective, from a CSD or carbonated soft drink, teas, waters, things of that nature. So about 2.5 years ago, the brand KDP came alive from two legacy organizations. We are a larger family now. So we're really excited to share a lot about our growth and our products. As you can see on the screen here, we've got a lot of products that are probably more name brand that you've heard. So yeah, we're excited to be one large employee. We're about 25,000 employees strong, 7th largest food and beverage company in the United States. And growing. So our organization, especially being in consumer goods, has grown with even throughout the pandemic, just because we are, more home based, right? So families not able to go out for dinner the way that they used to, buying bulk brands and keeping them in their homes, not able to go out and meet for coffee, but instead enjoying their coffee at home. So we're really excited about our growth. There's the next slide. Thank you. Just some great things to outline about what we do as a company, and our ambition to be in the community, and invest and innovate in a lot of different ways. So we are part of a lot of different community outreach programs. We are part of a Kaboom playground build. We've had the opportunity to build playgrounds in many different places. We also are we're very particular about where we farm a lot of our coffee beans. So our coffee beans are actually farmed out of Brazil and in South America. But we do have Keurig and Keurig Dr. Pepper employees that work at those farms, and they are specifically growing these coffee beans for our benefit. So a lot of great testing happening, community outreach and partnerships that we have and how we can continue to impact the community through supply chain and the environment, and make sure that we're keeping in touch with everyone as positively as we can, especially in these times. I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. She's on-site HR there in Vermont, and she's going to talk about some specifics about our Vermont facility.
Hi, all. So I'm literally sitting in our Essex office. COVID has been a big part of my role over the last 5 months. It's surprising to me how our business has been able to continue to progress and keep people safe. But really, it's been a team effort here. We are all wearing face masks in the office. We are all social distancing, cleaning surfaces every 4 hours, washing our hands every 2 hours, talking about COVID on a daily basis as a management team. So a lot of rigor and a lot of training, but great teamwork here and the local teams. In terms of introduction to our site, we're operating out of 3 towns in Vermont. We have our Waterbury office team that is actually working remotely right now from home. We have the Essex facility site, which I'm sitting in today with 525,000 square feet of space. We roast coffee, we package coffee here. We are also focused on cocoa and tea, and we distribute out of the site. So we have about 425 team members that we're trying to grow to over 470 in Essex. In Williston, just down the road. So Essex is behind the edge and around Lowe's area, if you're kind of orienting to where we're based. Williston is near Walmart, and you would find 140 team members in that location with 200 square feet. They package coffee and distribute coffee. So a strong manufacturing distribution presence here in Vermont. Very proud of us and what we've been doing. You know, think about being here in Vermont for I've been here for 17 years, but 39 years in Vermont, 2 years as KDP. I'm really also excited that we're launching new production wages now. I'll let AJ talk to that in a bit. But as you think about a day shift employee will earn $17 per hour, inclusive of the shift differential, and then at 3 to 6 months, when somebody learns the job, they'll see an increase of 50 cents. And we also have sign-on bonuses right now of $1,000 for days and $2,000 for nights. So with that introduction, I'm going to turn it back over to AJ.
Sure. So a couple of things. We're excited to reach out to the community and talk about what we've been doing. This will just give you a little more information on how to apply. You'll be able to find our website and how to apply for our teams. Our facility there in Essex and also in Williston, we have openings on all of our shifts. Our shift patterns, we have four shifts. So we run a 4-shift pattern. We have days, and we have 2 shifts on days and 2 shifts on nights. How that works is that we actually refer to them as a days 1 shift and a days 2 shift. They're rotating 12-hour shifts. So you would essentially work those rotating 12-hour shifts. The shift patterns for nights and days, they do alternate on each week. So if you were a night shift 1 crew, you would work 1 shift pattern 1 week, and then the night shift 1 crew would work a different shift pattern the next night. Same for days. So those 4 shifts are worked that way. So essentially every other week, it's a 2-2-3 shift pattern. We also are looking to build our brands, and we're actually growing. So the number of openings we have is based on growth. We are growing so quickly, as you can imagine, being consumer goods, and people staying home more and consuming their products more at home. They're buying more bulk products. So the growth that we're seeing in our facilities across the organization is just amazing. Our Essex sites are 2 of the 6 coffee plant sites that we have across the organization. Of that, those 6 sites are part of 20 other manufacturing sites that do produce more of your carbonated soft drinks, waters, and teas as one large organization. You're welcome to visit our website. Our website is www.keurigdrpepper.com. You'll also want to put in the location of Essex or Williston or just Vermont specifically to pull up the specific openings that we have in Vermont, since we do have a large footprint with our organization being across the entire United States, Mexico, and Canada. So specifically putting in Vermont will pull the openings that we have currently in the Vermont site. Again, just quick contact information, our website, where you can also send an email if you have any questions or give us a call. Obviously, we'll have time for Q&A, so Sarah and I are here to answer any questions that you have. And we're also here to make sure that, you know, if you're interested in joining us, that we can give you the best avenue that we can to ensure your application is in the right place. So thank you so much for having Sarah and I be a part of this. We're really excited to meet all of you virtually, since we weren't able to do this in person. So yeah, looking forward to hearing some feedback.
Thank you so much, AJ and Sarah. You know, I think that's a great point too. You know, we really want to make sure that you all as job seekers are able to meet the employers in this you know, uncertain time. So we appreciate everybody again taking the time to join us. Again, as AJ and Sarah both said, please feel free to post questions into the chat. I believe Sarah Tulos on our Department of Labor team, who is actually a local in our Burlington office, did post some information on Keurig Dr. Pepper, but Sarah and AJ, please feel free to post any other information there as well. So just kind of moving through, Leslie, I believe with Mansfield Community Fiber. So sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. It looks like you're unmuted. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the positions that you have open and just some background on Mansfield Community Fiber as well.
Thanks, Kyle, and thanks to everyone who's here. Good morning. We are, unlike the two previous companies, we are a small local company. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know why. Am I okay now? Okay. We're a local company that was founded about 2.5 years ago by people who live in Jericho, Underhill, Essex, Burlington, and Westford, who are familiar with technology and telecommunications. We are building a fiber to the home state-of-the-art network and operating it. We currently have customers in Underhill, Fletcher, Cambridge, and we are building into Fairfax this year. We'll be expanding north and east over the coming years, and we are looking for the right people to join a small, intimate team. We are not looking for anyone necessarily with relevant experience to telecommunications or fiber optic broadband. We want to train you if you are the right person for us. What would make you the right person? Well, you like to work with small teams. You are hardworking and willing to and interested in learning a wide variety of skills. You're reliable, honest, and trustworthy. You're great with details, and you're wonderful with customers and fun to be around. That's all we need from our job applicants. We'll do the training. Initially, we will have a kind of apprenticeship where you will work part-time, and by about, depending on the rate of progress, in 5 or 6 months, we'll be ready to move you to full-time work. We like to schedule mutually convenient work times. A lot of your work will be out in the field. Here's a description of some of the kinds of work that can be done. And we like to match the jobs with the interest and skills of the candidates. So we have some back office skills, which are administrative, managing our customer database, that kind of stuff. Then we have a lot of field work, which ranges from being up in a bucket truck and splicing fiber optic cable up where the poles are, to running that fiber optic cable to a customer's house, and then installing our equipment and our systems at the customer premises, and instructing the customer how to use what for many is a very new kind of technology. This is state-of-the-art technology for telecommunications. It is future-proof, and we are growing very, very rapidly. And that's why we're participating in this job fair. We can give you more information at our website. That's www.mcfibervt.com/job opportunities. Please check out our website to get a bigger picture of what we do and how we do it. We're delighted to respond to your applications. Just send us your resume and a letter of interest to info@mcfibervt.com, and we'll be back to you right away. Thanks so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate you giving us that that background. So I think now we can go to some questions. We do have a question from Katie, just asking about the demands of physical work, and I think, Leslie, I think that might have been related specifically to Mansfield, but I would be curious to ask that of each of the employers as well, you know, what the physical demands might be for each of the particular jobs that you're hiring for. So Leslie, if I could just circle right back to you on that question in terms of the physical demands of the work. And then maybe we'll circle back to Donna and end with Keurig.
Some of our tasks have almost no actual physical demands. Installing the equipment at a customer residence is mostly knowing how to connect an Ethernet cable to a piece of equipment that sits on a desk. You might have to use a drill to put the fiber optic cable into the person's house. The only kind of task that might involve physical labor is occasionally when a customer wants an underground drop, we do some of the trenching in-house with a trenching machine, but we have strong people who can do that work. In other words, I want to emphasize that we try to take, if we have a candidate who we think is a great fit for our rapidly growing company, we will tailor the tasks assigned to the person's capabilities. We don't pigeonhole people into job descriptions. We do want people to have a wide range of capabilities, but we don't restrict. We don't have demands that you must be able to lift 50 pounds or anything like that. I also wanted to emphasize that because we are going into people's homes to do these installations, we have a rigorous protocol for safety for ourselves and our customers that involves personal protective equipment, the swabbing down of surfaces, so that everyone feels very safe. And thus far, we have had no situation where a potential customer has decided to postpone the installation out of concerns about the pandemic. They're very satisfied with our procedures, and in fact, most of the time, they're absolutely pounding on us to get them connected quickly, because this service is so desperately needed by families that are trying to work from home, go to school from home, or visit a doctor from home, and frankly, cannot do any of those things with their current telecommunication setup.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
The question.
No, that's perfect. At least from my perspective, and Katie, please feel free to follow up if you have any additional questions for anybody. Looks like that was enough of an answer for her. But Donna, I do want to circle back to you just in terms of the positions that you're all hiring for. You know, Leslie, I appreciate the flexibility that you guys have, but I know, you know, Donna, maybe some positions that you all have maybe a little bit more constricted just based on the work that you guys are doing. So any physical demands or anything like that that would be required of any of the positions that you're hiring for?
Yeah, we basically put everybody through a physical. They have to be able to lift 35 pounds. And there's also a lot of other, things that the doctor and the physical therapist analyze to make sure people are physically fit. There is also a couple of the departments, the blasting and coating positions specifically, and also our quality control that require a respirator mask. They have to be able to be either under a hood if they're in the blast department with the ventilated air, or they're on a ventilator mask system in the QC department because they're it's a clean environment basically. But other than that, it's not really restricted. I mean, you're on your feet 10 hours a day with breaks, obviously, but most of the time it's not like you have to lift a lot of heavy stuff, because we have a lot of heavy lifting equipment, pulleys, and all kinds of system in the building that take the heavy load off of the huge lift. So 35 pounds is usually the max.
Great. Thank you so much. And then Sarah and AJ with Keurig, any physical requirements that you all would require for the positions that you are hiring? Anything specific, I should say?
Yeah, I think we ask, we do have our products in bulk. So as they're coming off the production lines, there may be an ask to move some of our packaging. And also we have our K-cups that need to be taken in and out of boxes and put into our machines. We typically ask that you are capable of lifting, pushing, pulling up to 50 pounds, but that's without a reasonable accommodation. So we, of course, will take into consideration, if there's anything that we need to assist with that. I think the other call out for us too is that these are 12-hour shifts. So we do ask that you're comfortable being on a 12-hour shift on your feet for 12 hours. Of course, there's breaks and there's lunch and there's things like that, and where we're not saying without a period of rest and break, but it is a position where you would be on your feet working in the manufacturing plant. So those are really the only physical, requirements or recommendations that we have for anyone that would be interested in coming to join our team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I do want to, again, encourage anybody with questions to please feel free to post those into the chat. If you would like to ask a question if you have any questions about, or if you'd like to ask a question, I'm sorry, over the camera, please feel free to click the hand and we will do that as well. Looks like a couple other questions have come in. Christopher asks, any current leadership management opportunities, with any of your companies? Maybe I will start with Leslie on that, just in terms of circling back around. But again, Christopher is asking about any leadership and management opportunities. And maybe if you don't have those, open, maybe you can talk to kind of the stepping stones to get to that level, to a management role, and if there is room for growth within your company. So Leslie, if you maybe want to go that first.
Our management positions are completely filled, and there's no prospect for senior management positions. That's because the owners of the company, including myself, are the senior managers, and we're a very tiny company. We are a very flat company. It's not like one of these huge corporations where you have many, many intermediate levels. I did want to respond, if that's okay, to the administrative questions. We can certainly use people who are interested in what we call back office work, which could be bookkeeping, accounting, managing customer accounts, some of the work associated with just customer management, because we have a customer acquisition pipeline We're providing a retail telecommunications service. People sign up for service often a year before we can reach them. And we need to manage getting them connected and manage their application service.
No.
Great. Donna, it looked like you were looking at, you were posting in the chat, but if you want to just address maybe some of that for the group.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, we do currently have one leadership position open. We have had in the last couple of months, we've actually just filled a buyer position and a an inside sales position. So we do get those positions on a regular basis. It's just right now they're not available. They're all filled. There could be one that will pop up in the near future. And then I also just posted on the chat room that we do have a video on the Fab-Tech website that shows the production facility, and it shows a lot of the positions in action. Actually, you can see what they're doing. The process is very clear on the video.
That's great. Thank you. And then with Keurig Dr. Pepper, anything that you might want to add in particular? You know, if you don't have any leadership positions open, it sounds like Donna provided just some background on, you know, how to get to that level, you know, or if there are stepping stones and room for growth.
I just like to listen.
Yeah, so I can speak to that. So currently within our facility, we are looking for some positions that would be at more of a higher level. When we think about like in the maintenance department, we have like a maintenance mechanic 2 or a maintenance mechanic level 3. With those positions, we do ask, you know, if you've had a background in some type of leadership role or where you've been a peer-to-peer mentor, on top of some of the technical aspects. That's just current state. We do have salaried positions or leadership roles that do become available in our sites. We are really big as Keurig Dr. Pepper as a whole of growing our own. So internal, we love to see runway. So even when we hire from an entry level perspective or a mid-level perspective, we're looking for those individuals that have that humble, hungry, and smart mentality, that want to come in, they want to work, they want to learn our business, be a part of a really innovative team. Our culture and our engagement within our manufacturing plants is the #1 priority of the organization. So we're here to help. We're here to help mentor and build upon your skills and give you the coaching and development opportunities that you need in order to get to the level that you want to be at in your career. So if you don't have anything readily available at a leadership role, you know, we still encourage you to come in, you know, talk to us. Let's talk about what your career ambitions are and how we can help support that from an internal perspective. For our production technician openings that we have, or the machine operator openings, you know, we're really looking for those individuals that want to learn our organization. They want to learn the business. They want to be a part of a really great company that is growing, again, innovative, takes our team culture and engagement as our top priority, and getting you in to understand exactly where your career path could lead, and then working with your management team, with our local HR site, and getting yourself set up to be the most successful as you can be.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Just kind of going through the questions again. A question from Ethan about remote work and kind of maybe flexibility. Again, you know, with COVID-19 and everything that's kind of transitioned, you know, the nature of the workplace has obviously shifted. But I guess if you could talk through any opportunities for his question specifically is, are there any remote roles for customer service or administrative assistants that our presenters are looking to fill? I think that maybe, Leslie, what you had been talking about previously, but then also if you could also talk to, you know, what, and Donna talked to this as Leslie did as well, the impact of COVID-19 as a whole on your respective companies and businesses with you as the employers, and maybe steps that you've taken if you don't have those remote positions currently available. So I guess first part of that question, do you have remote roles open? And then second, if you are currently hiring for in-person positions, what steps have you as companies taken, to help prepare employees for protecting themselves against COVID-19? So, AJ, if I could just circle back to you on that question to talk through first. I don't think we talked too much about that from your end. So I would kick that to Keurig Dr. Pepper between AJ and Sarah to answer that question.
And AJ, maybe I can just start, if that's okay. So from
Absolutely.
a remote working perspective, 300 of our roles in Vermont are working from home right now. So obviously being in the manufacturing setting, that's our primary focus that we're hiring for, but there's always positions that come available for other Vermont teams. In terms of being here and feeling safe at work, I think I can just talk to my personal experience. I think that, coming in, I do a questionnaire about my health every day. I have my temperature taken when I reach the door. We're installing thermal cameras. I'm sitting here in a face mask because we're all wearing face masks. Social distancing is required. There's a high level of accountability for being healthy. I hate to even raise this, but Essex has not had a COVID case. Williston early in March did have a handful of situations that we were communicating to employees, but I would say that everybody is vigilant. Everybody's changed their behavior significantly given the pandemic. AJ, anything to add?
No, I don't think so. I think that's communicated greatly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Donna, if you want to just talk through some of the protocols that you've taken, and then just, of course, circle back to any flexibility with the positions that you all are either hiring for or you have currently, just in terms of remote work.
Sure. We have, like I said, been hiring through this entire thing. So we started off early on, we've actually been in masks. Production floor has been in masks since April. We went early on instead of waiting. And then when the governor did a lot of his mandates, we kicked all of those in. We have a daily health questionnaire as well. And we also have a temperature screening before each person enters the building. They're not allowed in if it's over a certain temperature. We do have remote workers. Some of the administrative folks, the sales department, finance, engineering, the GM sometimes works remotely. There are several people that work remotely. However, everybody that is involved with operations is on site and has been the entire time, because especially me, I'm the only one from HR that's been here the whole time, because we have to support all the employee relations issues that they don't have time for, basically, out on the floor. So as far as interviewing is concerned, we start off with a phone interview. And I go through a health questionnaire with each person before they do enter the building, before I set up a live interview. And then they also, as they enter the building, have to have their temperature checked, answer the health questionnaire that everybody else answers, and wear a face mask. So we have taken every precaution. We also have hand sanitizer in like 20 different places throughout the building, so people can pop their hands onto it anytime they want to. And we have, like we said earlier, we haven't had anybody ill, and we take full responsibility as an individual to keep each other safe.
Fantastic. Thank you, Donna. And Leslie, I know you had kind of talked to the safety protocols that Mansfield Fiber is currently has in place. But is there anything else that you wanted to add regarding any of the safety procedures, as a result of COVID-19? And then, of course, the original question about anything regarding remote work. So if you want to go ahead and unmute, and I'll give you the floor.
Thanks so much. Well, most of our work is remote, in the sense that a lot of the work is simply outdoors, out in the field, except for when we're doing a customer premises installation. And I've already described the procedures for that. Because we're hiring for new recruits to a kind of enterprise that is new and unknown to most people, it really is not feasible to have people jump in remotely. They have to start learning all the aspects of our undertaking, and some of that requires actual quasi schoolroom type training, which we do at our office, which is spacious enough to have people be more than 6 feet apart and wearing masks. And so it is not feasible for us to have a new hire work remotely in that sense. With respect to the interview process, we do something very much like Donna described. The initial interview is by phone. If we want to go the next step, we schedule an in-person interview outdoors. We have a facility where we can sit apart from each other in nice weather and enjoy the beautiful Vermont summer together and get to know each other that way. So that's how we handle social distancing and being protective of ourselves as well as our clients.
Yeah, and this is AJ from Keurig Dr. Pepper. I think just to piggyback off what Leslie was presenting there, our situation is a little more unique since we aren't doing any on-site interviews, exactly what Leslie was saying, for everyone's safety, for the social distancing aspect. For our entry-level positions that we actually have moved to a virtual interview model, where you would apply for a position and we would send you a link to complete your interview through a virtual interview model, where we ask a series of questions to get to know you. Why are you looking for something different? Tell us about, some of your background in your work, and why are you interested in KDP? After the recruiter has the video or has the interview reviewed, they will then reach out to you and get to know you a little bit better. Ask you a couple follow-up questions, what your background is from a safety perspective or from a quality perspective, what you're looking to gain with our organization, and what you're looking for in a career development plan. At that point, the recruiter at that moment would be able to extend to you an offer, or we would say, hey, we're going to talk about what next steps look like. Either direction is a positive momentum or movement in getting your foot in the door with us. So we have the opportunity to do on the spot offers, and then also if there's some follow-up questions that we have, or you have some follow-up questions that we may need to gain some clarity on, we can work with the business and get that information for you. And at that point, like I said, if we end up moving to offer, we'll be able to put you through our new hire requirements in order to get you started as quickly as possible.
AJ and Leslie, thank you so much for providing that context on, I was actually going to be my next question on how things have changed from the hiring process, from during COVID-19. So, of course, from Keurig Dr. Pepper's perspective, you guys are doing a lot of, virtual hiring and interviews. Leslie, thank you for providing some background on the, outdoor interviews. I think that's great. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Donna, I'll come to you in just a second. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Leslie, in terms of kind of how things have changed amidst COVID-19 from a hiring HR perspective? Just wanted to give you an opportunity to expand.
Well, if you can imagine all the people in rural Vermont, which is our focus, our mission is to bring state-of-the-art communications to those parts of rural Vermont that are what's called in the industry underserved, who could probably not participate in this kind of video interview because their broadband was so poor.
Right.
And so as a result, we are being flooded with requests for connections. And we have a huge pipeline that we are working through, and we have an ambitious plan for expansion over the next several years. I want to emphasize that we view the current opportunity as the very first step onto a lifelong position if the candidate is so inclined and so interested, because we are building permanent infrastructure. It's like electricity was in the 1950s. People understand that about fiber to the home broadband. And so really for us, it's meeting an exploding demand for customer connections.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Donna, and of course, want to come back to you on how things have changed from a HR hiring perspective, even if it, from a onboarding, anything like that, just in terms of the hiring process that folks should know.
Onboarding is still done the way it's always been done. I sit in a very large conference room and do my orientations with new employees and do all the paperwork and everything. So actually that has not changed. The in-person approach hasn't. We just are wearing masks and being super careful. But we're just continuously hiring. And like I said, because of the growth, we're going to continue to hire for the next few months. I can foresee it's getting a lot easier to hire now. I think people are getting a little bit more relaxed about going back to work and feeling safe than it was a couple of months ago. So I see that as opening up and making it a little bit better.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great. I guess just in terms of, what should, in terms of Keurig Dr. Pepper and, Fab-Tech and Mansfield Fiber, what is it that you would like people to come away with knowing about what it's like to work in terms of culture, the atmosphere that it's like to work there, all those different things. Of course, COVID has obviously changed some of how we operate in terms, I can speak for myself from a Department of Labor perspective. Obviously we are working from home and, the culture has certainly changed, but, certainly traditionally, what has it like, what has it been like to work for your respective companies? And Donna, since you just spoke, I want to give you an opportunity to circle back with you on kind of the culture at Fab-Tech, and just trying to provide people kind of a glimpse of what it's like to work there.
Sure. I think that we have tried to maintain, like I said earlier, the level of respect for everybody, but at the same time, we've also, this summer especially, have tried to incorporate a little bit of the fun to brighten the atmosphere. We had Mr. Dingling, the ice cream truck, come about a month ago for everybody. We had a smoothie truck last week, and this week we had a taco truck on site. So we're trying to get the employees to relax a little bit and enjoy coming to work, as far as, it's not as stressful. They're not always having to think about wearing a mask and being super we're still social distancing, obviously, but it's not as stressful feeling when you try to bring something fun to the site. And at the same time, we've continued our safety conversations. There's daily reminders about all the different precautions so that people don't forget. It's always in the corner of their mind, especially when they're not here. And because they have to answer the questionnaire every day, they have to understand that what they do offsite is just as important as on-site. So I think that has been a big change for everybody to think differently. But at the same time, we've tried to do our summertime fun things just to let them know that we're trying to keep it as normal as possible to keep the energy a little bit more alive. We've had a lot of people stick right through it, obviously, with the change of procedures. But I think overall, they have respected that the company has gone out of their way to do so much to keep it safe.
Awesome. Thank you. I guess maybe we'll turn it over to AJ and Sarah from Keurig Dr. Pepper's perspective, same question, just in terms of culture and just what it's like to work at their respective at Keurig Dr. Pepper.
So AJ, I'll take this again. I've been with the company 17 years. I've seen a lot of change in the Vermont region for Keurig Dr. Pepper. I started right out of college with Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. That then became Keurig Green Mountain. That is now Keurig Dr. Pepper. And I am as excited today as I was when I first joined. Watching our company and our leadership is energizing, you know, specifically for Essex and Williston. We're really big on teaming. We go after big goals. We try to, you know, be innovative and right on top of cutting edge manufacturing technology. And, you know, we want to be fair to the team and really respectful. So I think that that's just an example of my experience. AJ, anything you'd add?
Yeah, so I think that just as the company as a whole, right? Like I had expressed earlier, the engagement and the contribution of our team is the number one priority of this organization. We are here to coach, develop, and encourage everyone that works for our organization at any level that they're at. I can say from my experience, I came in 5.5 years ago as an entry level employee, and just through the mentorships and raising my hand and being curious and, you know, asking questions and being involved, I was able to move my career with guidance in the direction that I really wanted to go. You know, comes of course always with hard work, right? But you always want to surround yourself with other people that have the same motivation as you and the same drive. And I feel like in this organization, you definitely can find that. You have a lot of support, specifically in the Essex and Williston facilities, from anywhere from your direct supervisor all the way up through the site leads. They're an ear. They're willing to hear. They're willing to help. They want to help and make sure we're bridging any gaps that there could be and help develop your career. If you come in at an entry level and your career ambitions is to get into leadership, we will absolutely help mentor you and get you to where you need to be set up to be successful in your career with us and through a developmental plan. So I've learned that firsthand. I'm firsthand experience on how well that plan works. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, but it is something that with, you know, a lot of good questions, curiosity, and grit, you know, it's definitely doable. And it's an exciting time to be with a very fast growing company.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah and AJ. I guess moving, Leslie, same question for you. What's the culture like at Mansfield Community Fiber, and you know, just giving people a glimpse as what it's like to work there?
Well, we view ourselves as a socially responsible company. We are members of Vermont Businesses for Social Responsibility, and we subscribe to and aspire to all the principles embodied in that. We are a community-oriented company. The owners and the principals of this company live with the people that we serve. And I often liken the work we do as feeding starving children. That's what it feels like, and it's enormously satisfying. If you think about what a new hiree's typical workday would be like, there'd be part of the day where you're meeting with 3 or 4 people and figuring out what's the work plan for the day, because that can vary from day to day depending on the progress of construction. The rest of the time, you might be working one-on-one with another member of the team. So it's as well as, of course, interacting with members of the community. So it's a more intimate environment in which our employees are performing a wide range of tasks in association with a changing set of individuals, but all of us being part of a very small group where we get to know each other very well and actually become good friends. And that's the kind of environment that we try to cultivate. I would like to emphasize as well that we strongly encourage applicants from diverse backgrounds to join us and to look at this as a great new opportunity in a new industry with a secure future. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you each of you for providing that background. I do want to give one last opportunity for folks as we start winding down, an opportunity to post a question in the chat for folks on the phone. I'd see a few people. Do want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, as I know you are not able to type a question into the chat. So I'll go ahead and pause just for a few seconds to see if there's anybody on the phone that would like to ask a question. And if you are trying to unmute yourself, it is star 6 to unmute yourself, I believe. All right. Again, if you were having trouble, please feel free to reach out to our office directly or to the Department of Labor directly to follow up on any questions. We'll be sure to pass along any contact information for any of the employers from today. Just kind of rounding things out, not seeing any more questions in the chat. I guess if we could just kind of in the same order that we started, kind of starting things off with Donna from Fab-Tech and then moving things through to Keurig and to Mansfield Community Fiber. If you could, just any final thoughts that you would have for any prospective applicants, kind of a last elevator pitch, if you will, for anybody that's maybe considering applying, anything that they should know, anything to keep in mind, or any any final thoughts that you might have. So Donna, I will give you the floor for a couple minutes.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if anybody is more curious about some of the positions, I'd put it in the chat too. There is a video on the Fab-Tech website that actually shows most of the facility and what the different jobs are around the facility without identifying them. But I also wanted to say that our ongoing hiring incorporates a lot of positions, like things that'll pop up on a daily basis. So I encourage people, if they are looking, to just keep checking our website, because things happen on a weekly basis. I'm adding jobs all the time. So if there's not one there this week, keep checking back. You might see something that is more interesting. The job descriptions are clearly stated on the website, so read through them. And if you have any questions, send me an email.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then I'm just going to send Sarah back in. Looks like we might have lost her. AJ and Sarah from Keurig Dr. Pepper's perspective. Again, just same question. Any final thoughts that you might have for prospective applicants?
Sure. Again, same as Donna, thank you for having us. This has been really great to answer some of the questions and introduce ourselves out into the community. So thank you for having us today. Just some final thoughts. We're definitely growing. I know I've said that a few times, but I think it's very important to express the growth within our organization. With the current pandemic and the things that we're seeing across the nation when it comes to how hiring is done, I believe that we're taking new strides every day to make sure that we're getting folks to work as quickly as possible, knowing that we need to work together in the community to provide an opportunity for everybody is on the forefront of our mind. If you're interested, come to our website. I've also put my contact information, my email address, right to my work email in the chat. So anyone that wants to jot it down, it's aj.boorman, it's BOORMAN @KDRP.com. Again, it's in the chat. Feel free to send me an email anytime if you want to send your contact information and have further dialogue about what we're doing. I am happy to connect with anybody to give you that insight. One of the greatest things I would love to say about our Essex facility especially is it's the only manufacturing plant that we have from a Keurig perspective or a K-Cup perspective that manufactures cocoa products, so milk-based cocoa products in our entire organization. So it is a very unique facility. We have high levels of automation, robotics in that facility. So it does give you an opportunity to learn from that perspective as well. So yeah, anything anyone needs from me, I'm here willing to learn and listen from you as well. So thanks again for having us. I'll kick it to Sarah.
Yeah, and AJ, I'd agree with what you just said, that anyone who wants to reach out to me is welcome to email sarah.patterson@kdrp.com. I, have such great teammates. AJ and I are just two members of a 25,000 person organization, and it feels like a team. It's very dynamic, and we have a great CEO and Bob Gamgort. So I really encourage you to check us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Sarah and AJ for joining us. And certainly last but not least, Leslie with Mansfield Community Fiber, any final thoughts you can share with our attendees today?
Right, so I've posted my direct email on the chat, but I just want to say that if you love working with people and you love being physically active and you're looking to get into a line of business that's new and developing and future-proof, please contact us. We're looking for, as they say, a few good persons.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again to each of you for joining us this morning, now this afternoon, as we're just 10 past the noon hour. Sarah Toulos from our office in Burlington has posted some information on our Burlington and St. Albans offices in the chat, so please feel free to give us a call from the Department of Labor's perspective as well. If you have anything that you're curious about, just in general about, if you need assistance on applying to any of the online applications, just as a whole, if you have any questions at all. I do want to say, again, thank you so much to each of you for joining us. If you have not yet signed up for our email updates, please do so. We are going to be having another one of these job fairs actually later today in a couple hours at 2 o'clock. So please feel free to join us at that time as well for another version of this Northwest job fairs in this series of job fairs that we're having. Next Thursday, we'll be doing a virtual job fair for the Southeast region of Vermont, and then we'll be following up on August 20th for a central Vermont, so Montpelier area down to White River Junction, I believe, is the span for central Vermont. So again, thank you again to everybody for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you to all of our employers for taking some time out of their busy schedules to join us as well to tell us more about themselves. So again, thank you, everybody.
Thank
you,
Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.